But I would say that there's certain sites where he's just not as good. So he's not always good. Recruit OP, moving on. What is up, my dudes? It's Pac-Man here, and today I'm bringing you guys an operator tier list for North Star. I've never actually done one of these. I know a lot of you guys have asked for them in the past, and I've seen a lot of people do them, and yeah, I guess today's the day. Today's the day we are going to do it. Now, I'm not going to lie, I could not find a tier list that had Thunderbird in here. So I might just get my epic pen out late days and fill in Thunderbird. All right, so we'll do that at the end of the episode, so we don't have too much of a mess. But I guess starting off, we've got OP, always good, often good, situational, and you're throwing. So I sort of copied this off Pengu. I seen he had something similar to this, and I think it's probably a pretty good guesstimate. So I'm probably going to change these around as we go. We'll start filling them in, and then as I get deeper and deeper, I might move people around a little bit. Alibi. I think we might even need another tier, because like I wouldn't say you're throwing if you have Alibi. Is she situational? Not really. We might need to add another tier. You could do better. You could do better. There's Alibi. She's not bad, but she's not like, it's not like, oh, Alibi would work really, really good on this site. It's just like, yeah, I want to play Alibi. You could do better. All right, so there we go. Alibi fits in there. Amaru. Now, you see, Amaru, I would say, is situational. She's got the SMG 11 plus the G8 with the 2 times the 2.5 if you want it. Ash. So now Ash had that. Ash has that nerf now. So for those of you who don't know, Ash has lost one of her breaching rounds. So she only has 2 now rather than 3. And the All-4C got a pretty hard nerf. So I'd say she's often good. Like, yeah, she'll still do her job. She still brings a certain amount of utility. She's still a 3-speed with fragging potential. Aruni. Now, Aruni's just straight out always good. Aruni just never, like, you can bring Aruni in basically any defensive lineup, and yeah, she works. Monty. I would say Monty is situational as well. Like, you could almost put Monty in often good, because yeah, oftentimes he does do well, as long as the player that's playing Monty is good. I would say situational. Same with Bandit. Once upon a time, Bandit is always good. You need Bandit. Like, you need to have Bandit, right? Like, once upon a time. Yeah, and nowadays it's just not. It's more situational. It's like you can, for certain sites where you need to Bandit trick. Blackbeard nowadays with the Blackbeard. If you asked me Blackbeard 3 months ago, I would have said Blackbeard OP needs a nerf. He's OP. It's so annoying. It was literally so frustrating. Such an annoying operator to play against. It's really one bullet takes out his shield. So if you're using a high fire rate weapon, he's just toast. He's toast. He doesn't bring anything else to the team aside from that. I would say Blackbeard now, you're throwing. I'd say that's how badly they nerfed him. I know on console Blitz is a problem, and I think as far as I know, Blitz is still a bit of a problem on console. He's not ideal. He still had to kill. On PC, he's not that difficult. It's really not that bad. Blitz is like, most of the time you can hear him coming from a mile away. The way that you set up, like he's not that scary. I'm gonna put Blitz in your throwing. I'm gonna put him in your throwing. If you bring Blitz, you're throwing. That's what I'm gonna say. You know what? I feel good about saying that. I'm happy with that. You're throwing. Buck is often good. I would say Buck is often good. Sledge, it's really, you got, like, when we're doing Buck, we'll put Sledge beside him. I don't think you can ever go wrong with Sledge. More so than Buck. Now, this is just my opinion, okay? Like, Sledge has a very powerful weapon with the SMG as a secondary. Buck also, his primary is not bad, especially with the new flash hider changes and just the new recoil changes. His gun is strong. He's got the 1.5, which is nice. Sledge, though, brings grenades, which are just so good. And you know, and that's the same thing. Sometimes Sledge, you know, like you could go instead of bringing Sledge for nades, you could bring for nades and Vert. You could bring Yana for nades and Buck for Vert, and that combination's awesome. That combination's awesome right there. So I don't know. We might have to change you in a minute. Now that we've got Yana in hand, I'm gonna put Sledge in always good. Yana in hand. I'm gonna say Yana is always good. You know what is OP? I would say right now OP. Just to put one in there, I'd say Flores is pretty OP. I'd say he's too strong, if that's in my personal opinion, because he has 2 drones. He has 4 extra drones that are explosive, which can bypass ADSs and remove shields like they're butter. You know, butter on a frying pan, just melts away. And we're moving on. I would say Castle is probably situational. Certain sites still do well with Castle, but very few. Very few. If you're bringing Castle on any other sites than the sites that he's good on and you know how to play it, like you know where the Castle's aid and assist, then yeah, he's situational. Otherwise, you're basically throwing. Cav is just straight throwing. I don't think we need to talk about that too much more. Like, Cav is fun to play, don't get me wrong, but it's like, you compare Cav to Alibi, yeah, there's a difference there. Alibi, you could do better. Cav, you're throwing. El Capitao. See, Capitao, I almost want to put him in always good. Always good. He can add to any round. With his ability to kind of flush enemies out with his with his firebolts, and the ability to smoke late round for a plant or for crossing or different situations like that. Yeah, he's awesome. Clash is funky because you'd almost think Clash could be alongside Monty, right? And situational, but I would say they're different. Because Clash, you don't need as much skill to play Clash as you do with Monty. I would say Clash is basically always good, if not OP. Okay, moving on. Duck, you could do better. You could do better. Nowadays, especially with Thunderbird, you're almost throwing with Duck. Like, he's got the 1.5, but is that important? Is it that important for on a 1 hour, 3 armor, 1 speed? Not really. Moving on to Jaeger. Jaeger's always good. Jaeger's still always good. I'd just say he's always good. I'd put Wamai in always good. Cade, pretty much always good. Good, nice. Well done. You playing Cade? Sick. Good to hear. Cade's good. I would say Cade is always good. Duck could be often good. She's not as good as she once was, but still often good. You could almost put always good. It's just I don't like her. Echo often good. Maybe always good. Echo is good. Echo is good. Not as good as he once was. Now that the drones aren't cloned unless you're using them, so you have to play them a little bit differently. But I still think Echo's always good. Like, if you bring Echo, he's still good. It's the same as Maestro. Maestro's different now, because people can just punch the Maestro if you're up close and personal. But it's just the way that you play them. You have to play them slightly different. Does it mean that they're not always good now? Ace. Ace with smokes, OP. Ace without smokes, always good. In today's meta, in today's game, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Hibana is OP. Strong. Very strong now. Better than Ace in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, she's better than Ace now. Like, and that's why, like, Thermite's probably often good. Yeah, like, if someone brings Thermite, he's fine. He's often fine. He's fine. And now with smokes, you'll probably see him even more from time to time because he has the ability to bring the smokes, which is huge. Maverick probably OP as well. I would say Maverick's probably OP. Jackal, often good. Not as good as he once was. Doesn't bring the same util to a team that he used to. His pings aren't as good. He's often good though. He is often good. Once upon a time, Jackal was banned every single round. Goyo's always good. I think Goyo's always good. Now, when he gets his rework, he will probably be situational. Yeah, I don't even think he's going to survive in often good. Ela is probably often good because of her fragging power. You can use a shield and shoddy to hold tight controlled areas. Ela is between often good or you could do better. I think that there's operators you could bring that are better than Ela. Think out your throwing. Moving on. Frost, often good. Nowadays, Frost is often good. Fuse, I'd say you could do better. I know Fuse still does bring some potential in terms of removing util from sight and displacing enemies. I still don't think he's that good. He's got a good weapon, but I don't think Fuse is awesome. I really don't. He's slow. His util, you have to be playing on a lower floor. You know, you have to be playing on a lower floor, so you can't bring him every round. It's very hearable, and yeah, the way the game is these days, it's just not that good, because most of the util isn't even on site anymore. It's in different, you know, slightly offside positions. That's where the util's stacked. So I would say that Fuse, you could do better than Fuse. Glaz, I'm just gonna say, God, I want to put Glaz. No. Yes. Oh my God. Oh. That could have been brutal. Glaz, I want to say you're throwing, but I'm going to have to put him in situational, because when you're going for a smoke plant, yes, fine, I'll say it. Sometimes he can still be okay. All right, Gridlock, you could definitely do better than Gridlock. I just think there's better options than Grid. Nomad is often good. Yeah, she's often good. She's still, you could almost say she's always good. You could almost say Nomad's always good, because Nomad does always, you know, bring stuff to the table. I'd say Zero is often good. I'm going to say Nock is situational, only because we've been using Nock in comp just for one or two specific bomb sites, especially Split on Consulate, and using Nock to, you know, run in there and get a plant down without them being able to actually see. So I think I'm going to put her in situational, but you probably could put her and you could do better. Maybe we'll even put her and you could do better. IQ, probably always good. I don't think IQ ever hurts. She brings a lot to the table. Valcam's Pulse, just general utility. I'm going to put Nomad in there. I'm going to put Zero slightly just behind. I think Zero is good. Lesion, always good. Don't need to say too much about it. The sound cues you get, you know, how annoying it is to have a goo mine. His weapon is awesome. His weapon's so strong. Kali, often good. Maybe situational to an extent. I feel like Maverick's just better in ways. Capcan's often good. Capcan, whether people like to think that they're more advanced, that they've been playing this game for so long. Capcan traps don't do anything anymore. It's not true. Capcan traps will mess you up, man. They are still difficult to deal with. They're still annoying. Lion's often good as well. I wouldn't say he's always good. Lion's often good. Gone 6, flashbangs, good weapon, ability to kind of like slow down the rotates, situations like that. Yeah, Lion's often good. Melusi's weird now. See, I would have put Melusi in OP last season. Now with the nerf, I'm not sure yet. I haven't had enough time to play with it. I would say she's still often good, maybe still always good. But I think there's more flexibility with her now. Prior to this, you would have said Melusi is a must. You need Melusi. Now, Melusi, maybe not. Probably still put Melusi in always good for now, but I'm not sure. Mira's often good, not always good. Mira is often good though in the sites that she brings. She's just good. Mira's good, not always good though. Malzi is always good. You can basically bring Malzi on every single site, and you know his fragging capabilities, C4, the ability to, you know, slow down the enemy droning. Yeah, Malzi is just always good. Mute is probably always good. Mute always, you know, you think about a bomb site and think, could Mute be handy here? Yeah, probably. Oryx, you could probably do better than Oryx. I wouldn't even say situational. It's just like, yeah, you can bring him. It's like Alibi. Good, you know, good fun to play, but you could do better. Pulse is often good. Pulse isn't always good. There's certain sites that he's not as good. It's kind of like Mira, right? Like Pulse is often good, but I would say that there's certain sites where he's just not as good. So he's not always good. Recruit OP, moving on. Smoke is always good. I think you can bring Smoke every single round and no one can say anything to you. To be honest, I think Smoke is just always good. Nowadays, I'd say Chunk is often good. You could even put, you know, Chunk for Smoke, maybe. You know, it's hard to say Smoke is always good when Chunk is often good. Thatcher is probably still OP. Yeah. Straight up, I would say Thatcher's still OP. Rook, I would say Rook, you're throwing, hey. I'd just say you're throwing. Yes, the 2 times is nice on certain sites when you're holding mad long angles. Sure, like, yeah, you can bring him in. Zofia, always good. Yeah, that's an obvious one. Valk is always good. Valk borderline OP, but I wouldn't say OP. Twitch, often good. Nowadays, really. Yeah, Twitch is better than people think she is. She brings more to the table than people think. Ying, pretty situational in my opinion. She's good. She's often good, but she's often not good as well, you know? She's one of those operators that, you know, what do you guys think? Do you win many rounds with Ying? I think Warden, you could do better than with Warden. Again, kind of situational, but I just think you could do better. Vigil, I'd say Vigil's just always good. Vigil is just frustrating, man. To deal with a Vigil on a roam, it's just frustrating. overall. So I would say Vigil is just straight up always good. I would say I'm going to put Thunderbird because I just don't know. It's only been out for a couple of days. I don't know yet how she's going to be played. I'm going to put her here. Right in the middle of always good and OP. Now, there's probably more operators that should have been right down the middle here. But I'm going to put her right here at the moment. She's good. She's good. Take that, I guess, as you will. So there you have it, my friends. There is my operator tier list. I always said I was supposed to do one of these. I always had the intentions of doing one, but I just never got around to it until now. So thank you for the Knights for suggesting the video. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And as always, guys, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.